Andrew Mack here with Try by Combat and MMA Island. Today I'm with Jake Hixenbaugh, who is rematching Aaron Hughes at Cage Titans on January 27th. Jake, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. How about you?
I'm good. So before we get into all the drama and controversy of this fight, let's talk a little bit about your background. So how'd you first get into martial arts?
Uh, so so I've always watched it growing up, and I've wrestled since I was like 4 years old. So I've been around the mats and the grind my whole life. But like my friend Grady, he's the one that kind of got me into this sport. So that like the end of high school, he found a gym, Bone MMA, and Jake and stuff,
Yep.
and so he told me like, "Oh, I just found this gym. You should train and stuff." I just started training, and it was like my senior year of high school, and so like I was like, "Yeah, after I get done with wrestling season, I'll join the gym and stuff." And wrestling season ended, and I did a few days of jujitsu, and then I did a tournament just like right after wrestling season, just cause. And then I won the tournament, and I was like, I didn't I was like, oh, I got stoked about it, and a month went past. I didn't train for like the next month or whatever, and like Jake got my number, and he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, where are you at?" He's got like a whole different area code because he came from like a different part of New York before. And so I'm like wondering, I'm like, who is this 315 number? And so like I was like, who is this? And he goes, Jacob Bone. Come in, you're gonna be like really good and stuff. And like, I came back, and that was like April. So that happened in February. Like I competed in February, and then April I came back in 2017, and then like I just fell in love with it, and that's basically all I did since I started, and it's been nonstop since then. I had my first fight in that November. I wanted to fight September, but like obviously like right off the bat, right when you think you're ready to fight, your coach tells you, hey, let's dial it back a little bit, you know. And then I fought 2 months later, and it's my first ever fist fight in my life, and I ended up knocking the guy out in a minute and 14 seconds. And it was actually on the same card as like UFC's Jasmine Jasuda Vicious. I got the knockout of the night, and she got submission of the night. So that's a cool fun fact about that too.
Nice.
That was her amateur debut too.
So everyone in New England knows like Lozon's, Nostos. Bowen's out there in New York, like Leroy or something, I think I read.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about Bowen that most New Englanders would not know, since all we know is the name, basically? Typology doesn't even
So
recognize it as a legitimate gym right now.
yeah, so we're just New York, Western New York. It's not really like New England. We're just Northeast, so we're a little outsiders to y'all. We're known like in our area. Obviously, everybody knows us as very, very gritty fighters that you definitely don't want to fight twice if you want to fight at all. So Jake started this gym a few years before I started MMA, and everybody that he's built, he's instilled a mentality of just you know don't be a pussy, and it's basically fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. And that's just basically something that all of us kind of always done around here. And now it's like growing, and now we're going into like a bigger scene, and having more pros in the gym now. Jesse's gonna be having his last amateur fight 2 weeks after me at Cage Wars for the light heavyweight belt, and then he's gonna be making his pro debut. And yeah, so like we're a growing gym. We're small right now, but like we're a bunch of tough fighters with the connections to a lot of gyms too. So we work with a lot of other gyms in New York State and around and stuff.
So your amateur record wasn't the best, 3-4, but I know there's a lot more to fighters than just a record. So how'd you describe your amateur career?
I fought a bunch of tough dudes. Um, I was 18 years old fighting 30-year-old men, top guys in Canada. I never took an easy fight. I don't know. It's kind of like made me a lot better. It's taught me a lot. It's not about your amateur fights. It's about your pro ones. So, like I said, like Bone really like kind of instilled that mentality onto me too. With that, um, it doesn't really matter with amateur. Like I said, like
Yep.
it is what it is.
So I noticed your last amateur fight was right before COVID, and you made your pro debut June of 2022. So how was your training during COVID, and what went into the decision to go pro?
I really devoted my life to the game, like fully. Like I'm talking, I'm putting it before anything right now, and I have been since. It's really upped my skill level a lot, up my mental level with this stuff. I just feel like I have kicked it up in every aspect, and that's why I just kind of, not only I saw that, coach saw that. He really said he saw me basically a change in me, and he was down with me having my. At first, I was gonna have my last amateur fight right at the end of COVID, but then like that fell through, and we just were like, "There's no point, no point in wasting a fight on amateurs. I'm good enough to be up here. I'm going with all the pros, and I'm I don't really have to try against amateurs and stuff.
So I was at your pro debut, very dominant performance. I was at your second fight. Everyone was cheering for Nate. It was at outdoor venue. It was awesome. You actually finished the fight right in front of me, which I got like a awesome shot of it. How was that experience fighting outside at Net 48?
Bro, that was awesome. That was the only time I ever fought outside. I hope I do it again. It's cool fighting in a place where a lot of people want you to lose. And like, the crowd's going wild. I'm looking him across the eyes. It's a main event. It's my second ever pro fight. I'm like, whoa, this is it's kind of surreal, but I'm also like so locked in that like I'm not letting it slip. And after I got that finish, it just, you know, it's the it's a feeling like no other. When you get on top of that cage after the finish and you look out into the crowd, whether they hate you or they loved you before, a part of them likes you a lot more, especially just how like just you put on a show and everything, especially like after the fight, all that. I wish I got a post fight interview. I still haven't gotten an in cage post fight interview yet. So we'll see. We'll see. I can't wait to get my first one this weekend. So
So after
or
that
next.
fight, sorry, after that fight at Neff, I got a message from Nick Heiler, the Cage Titans marketing director. It says that kid Jake is a beast. We gotta get him the Cage Titans. So is that how you got to Cage Titans for 58, or is there more discussion than that?
So before I've cornered for Jake at Cage Titans for almost every Cage Titans that he's been in. Well, unless like I was on the same card as him. But basically, um, like one of the times right before my NEF fight, he walked up to me and was like, "Hey, dude, like after this NEF fight, you gotta fight for Cage Titans. We gotta have you on here. We'd love to have you on." And yeah, like I was like, "Yeah, for sure. Just let me finish this guy." And it actually happened. I was like, "Wow, that's fucking sick." And then uh I got some offers from other promotions that fell through, and that ended up actually being my next fight. So
So your next fight was against Jerry Muse. What would you say is the biggest lesson that you learned from that Muse fight?
I I I gotta be smarter with my cardio. There's stuff behind closed doors I'm not really gonna bring up. I've probably brought it up in other interviews, but um, stuff that happened with that hurt me cardio wise, and also be smarter when people miss weight and stuff. I know it was only by a little bit, but both of my losses are to both the people have missed weight. against me. So I got to be smarter with that, and also just be smarter with my gas tank is was the main thing, and keep on my footwork and make sure I get my boxing going first. Uh, that's how I learned. That's what I learned from my last two fights, basically. But from the Jerry fight, it's basically the cardio thing.
So then we go on to the Aaron Hughes fight. Let's see, where's the video? So I'm gonna throw up the video. Any thoughts, like as it's playing? If you want to commentate, you go ahead. I'll slow motion the elbows at well, so you can talk about that.
I fucking hate watching this shit. I'm gonna be real with you. I get pissed off.
All right, here we go.
Oh, baby.
Looking across the cage at a pussy.
Short fuse in the flat black with the red trim.
Circles.
Dragon red.
Circles.
And the blackbird, Hixenbaugh.
He wants to get my stuff in. Hit him with a body kick. He throws something. Whiffs it. Hit him again. Throws something. Whiffs it. Throws something. Barely hits me. I hit him. Hit him. Too slow. Throws something. Misses it. I hit him. Too slow. Wants to hit me again. Tries to catch me. He goes for the takedown first. I reverse him. He goes for his patented Hughes guillotine. Oh my gosh. He's going for it. He's trying to set it up. Oh my. Oh my. Sorry, those are my dogs. There's zero choke going on. He knows there's zero choke. He's like, oh. Oh.
All right, let's slow this
He's
down.
going now. All right, now this is the part I hate watching. Get pissed off. He's trying to post right there. He's trying to hit me in the back of the head a little bit, but I'm trying to like post and have that head position. He has good jits. Not gonna lie. That was to the top of the head. That was a nice little elbow that he had. I hit him right there. Now he's getting his post. He's trying to push my head to the side. I'm trying to use my head position. Doing good with that. Now he puts the hand to the back of my head. I hit him with a nice elbow. Closes his guard. Right now is boom, right there to the back of the head. He hits me right there. Kevin comes in. He says something. I'm like, all right, okay. Or that, I don't think that's when he said something. I think it was like the second or third one. That one wasn't too bad. Boom, right there. That's when the back of the head, back of the head. He says something. He says something. He says, like, he just keeps going. Right here, I'm just blind. I don't remember this part. I don't remember that part. I'm blind right here. I'm like, I can feel where I'm at, but I'm like, everything's white. I'm like, okay, I just gotta sit down. Don't try to stand up. And then like I hear voices. I'm getting talked to, and like next thing I know, it's the coach. I mean, not the coach, the doctor. I'm like, whoa. And they're like, you won by disqualification. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Dude, I know. Just trust me. I'm gonna just take you through the whole thing. But I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, do you know where you're at? I'm like, in the cage. And they're like, what day is it? I'm like, fight day. Like, as I'm in the cage, bro, it's fight day. And they're like, yeah, but what day? I'm like, Saturday. They're like, yeah, but what day? And I'm like, bro, like they're asking me the date and shit. Like, fuck you. You know, I don't even like remember that. I think May something, but like, I'm trying to. I go to try to stand up. My legs weren't fully under me just because of the balance and stuff. But like, I go and I'm getting out of the cage and like I'm getting like an adrenaline spike, and it feels like I feel pretty good. Like like I don't know, when you get an adrenaline spike, it's just like whoa, like I'm feeling good, and like it I felt pretty good in the back and stuff, and like I felt pretty good that night. It wasn't. I was like, oh wow, like that was fucking scary as hell. Like I've never dealt with anything like that. And then like the next morning, I wake up and like my head was like fucking throbbing, dude. I couldn't even like look at like screens and stuff and all that, and like I couldn't train for a while. And they're like asking me if I want to fight in like July, and like I couldn't even fight in July because I wasn't even training till July. Like no one's gonna want to do that, especially like after being hit in that back of the head that many times. I know he can say, oh, only one or two of them were in the back of the head. Like, yeah, fuck you, dude. Like, you see that on there. I'm sorry, but you see that on there, how many are in the fucking back of the head. But, like, back to that, July, he's like sitting here, he's talking shit, and then he goes against this fucking bum, guillotines him, obviously, because it's not a bad guillotine, but it's not anything like the shit I deal with all the time. I deal with John Piersma, I deal with Jacob Bone. You know, they have the two nastiest guillotines in New England. So yeah, so I wanted to fight in September, but like obviously, like I've said in past interviews, why he didn't want to fight in September. Like shit was wanting to spend time with his girlfriend or something. I don't know, but like either way, I'm gonna fight in September because like I'm on a time schedule. I wanna make a certain point by my life, like a certain age in my life. You know, I know where I want to be at. I have a plan. But yeah. So I took the fight for CFFC. I co-main evented first there on UFC Fight Pass, which is pretty cool. And like November time comes around, I'm kind of waiting for like a offer from Cage Titans and like I guess like Hugh, well, because like I don't get notifications if I'm not following you. If you
Mhm.
DM me, Hughes DM me and was like, "Are we doing this or what? November or something?" And like I didn't even see that shit. So like obviously like he was asking for the fight. I'm not saying like, "Oh, dude, he's fucking taking a different fight." Like I'm not. I don't give a fuck. I'm real about it. Like I'm not gonna tell you lies. He took a fight with a guy that beat me, you know, and he got wrecked in like 2 minutes. I mean, he had the one guillotine, he had a few little scrappy punches and stuff, but once he got a hold of him, it was just over. And basically after that, um, I actually I think before that fight, we had a DM exchange, and it was like basically like it wasn't crazy bad. It was like I win, lose or draw, we got to get it in January. We agreed, you know, and we're here now. You know, as soon as that ended, that shit. Lars texted me, goes, "You want the Hughes fight?" And I go, "Fuck yeah, I want the Hughes fight. Been wanting the Hughes fight forever, man. The fuck, I'm gonna end his ass." But yeah, we're finally here. Um, Press conference next week. Co-main event now. Pretty cool. So it's not my first rodeo co-main eventing, but I'm glad to do it again. So it's fun.
So one more thing before we move on to the current fight. So Lars and Jacob both said that should have been a DQ. The official decision was a no contest. Aaron was saying it should have been a KO victory because you went unconscious or something from the elbows and all the turn your head shit. What's your opinion on what it should have been?
I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I really don't. It is what it is, dude. It's a no contest, and fuck it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my gosh, like this should have been a DQ. What the fuck? Like, I don't care. I get to beat his ass, and I get to get paid for it now, again, and I get to get my W. So, I'm just fuck it with that. I don't give a fuck.
So clearly, when you're talking about him, you don't like him, he doesn't like you. When you're training, when you're in that cage, do you keep those personal feelings with you, or is it just business?
Both. You gotta be smart. You can't just be like fighting with emotion. You gotta be calm, cool, and collected at all times, but you got to be ready. And like when it's time to finish, that's when the emotion comes out. And when like I know that the finish is there, then the emotions will really honestly all pour out basically after the finish.
And are those emotions motivating you, driving you to train even harder in preparation for this fight?
Yeah, main motivation is to be a world champion one day, and I train hard just doing that. But when you don't like somebody, it makes you train even harder, because you really don't want to lose. You hear all the shit that they say, you hear all the stuff that they talk, all the comments that they leave on every single post that is about you and stuff. He's listening to every word that I'm saying. He's trying to do whatever he can, but I finally get to just end it. I finally get to just end everything with him and just take him out, and it's that my dogs are going crazy right now out there, dude.
So how's your fight camp been for this fight so far?
It's the best fight camp I've ever had, bro. I've traveled a lot more. I've picked up my training even more. I've I've really I've hired a right now he's doing my recovery and stuff. He's gonna be my strength and conditioning coach too after this camp too. But yeah, I've gotten even I'm just like up my relationships with other gyms too. When like Shinobi and Synthesis and stuff, going and I'm cross training more and going to a bunch of different seminars and just upping my skill a lot in these past few months. Really getting my shit together and getting ready for the takeover for this year.
And win, lose, or draw, what do you want the K-Shines fans to think of you after that fight, or this fight?
Uh, the Cage Titans fans, well, I always like it when people love me, but if they hate me, it's whatever. Love or hate me, I'm gonna love them. It's an energy out there. It's an energy like no other. They're diehard fans. And I'm just glad that I get to put on a show for them. So that's all I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that I'm in this position, and thankful that I'm able to get all these guys that riled up, because I feel like once I started talking is when this fight really kicked off.
So it's just January, you're taking your first fight. How many fights are you looking at to take this year?
Probably like 4 or 5, hopefully, maybe even more if all of them are flawless, and never know. If you're not like hurt or anything right after and you take a guy out quick and clean, you can fight the next month. You can fight 2 weeks later. You know, some of my fights go like that. So, as many as we can get, you know.
And everyone fights for a different reason. Why do you fight?
I wanna dude, I wanna build a life, around this stuff, man. I wanna build a future for myself, for my future family, for, I want to make my family name known around the world. So I got big dreams with this stuff. I want to be something big, and I'm really young, and I'm already making waves. I've already been in big fights. This is my third main or co-main event. This is my what I think sixth fight. So that's not normal for new pros. I'm putting myself in, well, God's putting me in these positions that like I really just got to capitalize on, and you know um I'm just thankful for this life. I don't know.
So what do you do outside of the cage? Do you have a job, hobbies, anything?
Yeah, so uh I'm a shitty golfer, but I love to golf, obviously. I hunt. um I work for a tree removal service. He's really cool about like me fighting and stuff. So like whenever I have like whenever I'm close to a fight, I don't have to really work as much. But yeah, so like I do that part time. Well, yeah, part time, and a lot of my time is around fighting. But you know, I have other hobbies and stuff. But big football fan, huge Chargers fan. They fucking suck ass, but I love them.
So of course we had the main event of this card drop out. There's still a bunch of good fights. What's your favorite fight on this card besides your own?
John Piersma is definitely my main circle on the list. He's probably the fight right before me, right?
Uh, two fights before you. The fight before you is the OG motherfucker belt.
Okay. Yeah, so John Piersma, watch him go in and sub this dude. I like the guy he's fighting, but you're fighting a fucking dog, dude, and that's my fucking boy. So, I'm gonna watch him get the finish and give me the energy. I get the finish. We all have a good night.
All right, I'm gonna ask you for some favorites. If you want to give a story, you can give the story. If you just want to give the favorite move on, you can do that as well. Your favorite
All right.
big league fighter?
Big league fighter of all time or
Yeah.
of all time, Rashad Evans. A little bit different, but I grew up, wrestling. Like I said, he wrestled at N Trip, and I always used to wrestle at N Trip, and I used to see a picture of Rashad Evans, like like national titles at JUCO. So I started watching his fights, and it really got me into fighting more.
Your favorite regional fighter besides yourself or your teammates?
Like I said, Brody McDougall. He's a fucking fun fighter to watch. A fucking he's a madman out there, man. He just fucking gets in there, you know. But I like him. I like a good amount of the Nostos guys too. Like Kyle Hill's good, you know. Uh, he's fun to watch. Nate Grimmert, I fought him, but I like he's one of my favorites out there. Tyler Smythe too. He's fun to watch. I like that one kid too. Like he's kind of came out of nowhere, and uh he beat Smythe and he beat Foyer.
Casey
Yeah,
Norton.
yeah, that kid's good.
Yeah.
That kid's good. So yeah, and then like the heavyweights, that guy that just wrecked the fuck out of that one dude. He got knockout of the year.
Hassan Graham.
Yeah, Sign Graham's fun to watch. Yep.
Your favorite submission to hit?
My favorite submission to hit, any choke, guillotine, darce, rear naked. Uh, I love the arm bar. For leg locks, calf slicer. Um, hit an Omo here and there.
Your favorite one of your fights?
My favorite one of my fights definitely is the Grimmert fight. Is my only ever like headline. So basically, just feeling that whole situation is really what sparked up my whole career.
Your favorite fight to watch that's not yours?
Fight or fighter?
Fight.
Fight. Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald
Oh, yeah.
2 was my favorite fight ever. So I watched that one live. That was actually my favorite card ever. I'm pretty sure it's the same card as McGregor Mendez, I'm pretty sure.
Let me check.
And Dennis Bermudez was on there. Pretty sure he got flying knee knocked out. They had live fighters. They had live performances at the main event.
Yeah, McGregor Mendez.
Yep. Dude, that was my favorite ever card right there.
Your favorite food to eat after the weigh-ins, before the fight. So you still gotta stay healthy, but you can have more calories now.
We're usually having some sort of just right after the weigh-ins, or having some after we get our good rehydration and some sort of meat, some carbs to bring us back, but not overload on that. So like steak or something, some potatoes, and a little bit of pasta too, if I really want to, but not go crazy on it because then I'll kind of bloat up. But Yeah, and then it's the main thing is I like to change it up after weigh-ins. It's different every weigh-ins, but the day of the fight, I eat eggs Benedict every time
Solid.
with bacon too, like on the side. So
And what you eating after the fight when you can just eat whatever you want?
anything, bro. Like I've been dieting and shit for weeks, so I just wanna I just wanna just indulge and just eat whatever the hell I want. You know, it's whatever I'm basically feeling, dude. Right now, I'm feeling like I can't wait to just like I love pierogies too. I don't know, like I got weird ass fucking favorites, but yeah. So I can't wait to eat a shit ton of those fried pierogies and stuff.
Two more things. If you could give yourself a message the day that you went pro, June 17th, 2022, what would that message be?
Me right now to back then,
Yes.
uh, do exactly what you're fucking about to do, dude. Uh, you made people love you from the first second they saw you fight. You know, um, this is your life now. This is your career. It's what you're doing till you're 40. So enjoy it.
And any shout outs you want to give to anyone? Sponsors, teammates, coaches?
Yeah, shout out to first of all shout out to Jacob Bone for being the fucking best coach. He's really focused on my shit a lot these past few months, and he's um shot like he's really helped me a lot, with my game. And but shout out to all of Bone MMA. Shout out to Synthesis for helping me a lot, and their coach Casey, for being a great support system too, for being another team for me to go to at points in time, at certain days. Sometimes like one team's having a practice, you know, I'm able to go there, um, just so I can just train nonstop. It's just I can't get enough of it. But shout out to Shinobi. You guys are honestly my second family. Like I go up there all the time. Jamie, he's in my corner for every fight. Uh, he's one of my biggest like he's one of my biggest inspirations in fighting too, besides Jake and Grady. This is actually going to be my first time having all three of my main corners in the fight. So at the same time, so this is big. This is big for all of us. So shout out to my teams, and shout out to also my sponsors, Pilo Construction, Conti's Auto, Firing Pin. Honestly, it's hard for me to name them all,
All good.
but like I'll make my post about that. But shout out to my sponsors. You guys are helping me out a lot with this stuff, and you know, just it's time to really just cut this weight and get to it, boys. Let's make that money.
Any last message you want to give?
To who? To him or to?
Anyone?
Let's. Yeah, I'll just give a message to whatever. Everybody. I hope y'all enjoy the fight. I'm gonna smoke this boy, and we can all party after and have a good time.
All right. Thank you for your time, Jake. Good luck on your fight.
Thank you, bro.